Hey everybody, Michael Beck here, and of course Vader and Ferguson, our two pugs. So hey, I'm so excited about the release of Rooted in the Wild, Revitalizing the Church in the Blended Ecology. You know, I grew up as an adopted child. My mother and biological father weren't able to care for me. So my grandparents dragged me to this little congregation every Sunday morning, whether I wanted to go or not, to go to church. And so in the most formative years of my life, I grew up singing my faith, participating in that community with a great cloud of witnesses of people loving me, nurturing me in Jesus. Grandparents died and I went out, dropped out in the 9th grade, street kid, juvenile detention, all those things. So I spent a great period of my life very far from the church. As two great rap poets have said, there's no church in the wild. And I experienced that for different parts of my life. So when I came back into the church to become a pastor, there was this struggle, this tension in the inherited church that formed me and loved me and being able to serve that. But then also realizing there's so many people in the world that are not connecting with traditional forms of church. And feeling like I'm caught in this tension, like I have to choose one or the other. So we started experimenting with these things called fresh expressions of church. And over time, we started to see how those little faith communities actually help the inherited church come alive in new ways. And as I studied scripture, I found that that's actually a false dichotomy, that either or between the attractional church or the missional church, the gathered church or the scattered church. But actually, the most faithful pattern of the structure of the church from the earliest time in the New Testament was Jerusalem and Antioch, temple and table, Jews and Gentiles grafted together in this image that Paul gives us of a tree that has deep roots and wild branches. That is the earliest structure of the church. It's a both and structure with small experimental communities happening over here, connected to and rooted and grafted into the inherited, the traditional. And so I wrote the book to try to be a practical guide to help people navigate what the church needs to do and be in the 21st century. So I hope you enjoy the book. There's also going to be a Substack series that accompanies the book. So get the book, jump into the Substack series, where we'll have a weekly conversation to go deeper with the content of the book and to flesh out some of those things and how you might live them out in your local setting. So thank you so much for supporting this work and this book, Rooted in the Wild.